Hello again. In this particular recording, for just the talk, I'm going to try to do something unrelated to the medicine, but something which is very commonly known to Indians or Hindus, the big story or epic Mahabharata. Now, I'm not going to tell you the story of the Mahabharata in detail, but there are characters in the Mahabharata which are such that ordinary mind cannot think as to what actually they represent. And even though the stories are intriguing, interesting, and confusing, to say the least, they are still pretty good to explain what would be an origin of the universe. So I'm going to try to tie the story of the Mahabharata with the origin of universe. And again, this probably would be in form of Sankhya principle, where there is a nature and spirit. I'm going to quickly tell you the story of the Mahabharata first, and then take several characters. If you read Bhagavad Gita and would see that the shlokas 4, 5, 6, 7, they mention several names to several characters, the fighting from both sides in the war of Kurukshetra. So there is a group of people that fought from Pandava side and group of people that from the Kaurava side. And these names sometimes are known to ordinary readers of the Mahabharata, and sometimes they are not known, but they are mentioned. So they must be important, and they actually represent certain things in Patanjali Sutra Yoga, Yama Niyama type of story. To start with, let me tell you quickly the story of the Mahabharata, which is probably known to most of us. The Shantanu was a king who was married to Ganga, or the river Ganges, in a physical form. Before marrying to Shantanu, Ganga had asked the promise from Shantanu that whatever she does with her children, Shantanu would not ask a question. King Shantanu agreed to that. So when Ganga had a child, in total of 1 to 7, she took them away and drowned them in the Ganges Ganga. Shantanu was surprised but could not ask, and Ganga had told him that if he would ask a question, she would leave. When the 8th child was born, which is Bhishma, and she started taking him to the Ganges, Shantanu asked the question, and so she said, "You ask me a question, I'm going to leave you." And she leaves. The story goes further that Shantanu was depressed and then comes in contact with Satyavati, who actually was a fisherman's daughter called Matsyagandha. The name Matsyagandha is derived as her body smelled like a foul fish. But she comes in contact with Rishi Parashara, and Parashara blesses her with his son. That turns out to be the Vedavasa, and also her body's foul smell is gone and she smells like lotus. When Shantanu meets her, he marries or wants to marry her, but then she knows that Shantanu has a child from the first marriage, Bhishma, and so she does not want to marry, but wants the promise that Bhishma would not claim to be the king after Shantanu passes away. So Bhishma does the Bhishma Pratigna, saying he would never marry, never would have a child. Subsequently, the 2 kids that are born from Satyavati, Vichitravirya and Chitragada, die at early age, and so there is nobody to be sitting on the throne. So Vedavasa is invited. Bhishma snatches 2 girls, Ambika and Ambalika, and then Vedavasa produces kids from it. One girl becomes white seeing Vedvyasa. So her son born is Pandu, who is white, and the other one closes her eyes, her son born Dhritarashtra is blind. And then Dhritarashtra marries Gandhari, and they have 100 kids, and Pandu marries two different wives, Kunti and Kunti, and she has been blessed with mantras from different people, and she produces 3 kids, and her the other stepwise produces 2 kids. The second one is Madri. So we have here a complex story with complex characters. The 5 Pandavas, the 100 Duryodanas, they were taught by a teacher named Drona Charya. So there are several characters, and it is difficult for me to educate anybody for these characters. So I'm going to start with only one character today that I didn't even mention the name, but we'll try to touch what does Shantanu, Ganga, Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and all these characters mean, or how it is an origin of the universe. So we'll take one character today in a short remaining time, that is Drona Charya. Drona Charya was born in a Drona. Drona is a bowl made out of leaves, the dry leaves. And Indians in those times used it to have a liquid in it. So Drona is like a previous day bowls. So Drona's origin was that somebody had put sperms in a small Drona, and that's how Dronacharya was born. He was married to a girl named Droni, and they had a kid, which is Ashwatthama, who apparently is immortal. So how does it jive? Dronacharya taught Kauravas, which turned out to be wicked, and Pandavas, which turned out to be nicer or better 5 brothers. So Dronacharya reflects or represents our previous life's karmas. Again, Dronacharya represents our previous life's samskaras, impression that happened from actions that we have taken in previous lives. So the previous life's action are stored in a reaction, which is like an abstract form. I have mentioned this many times in the past. If I like sweet and I'm attached to sweets, my attachment to the sweets for candies and cakes and cookies in America would be transferred to my love for jalebi, shrikhand, gulab jam in India, or baklava in the Middle East. So I love sweets. I like certain sweets is stored in an abstract form as a reflection. These impressions are stored, or samskaras are stored. This is what the Dronacharya reflects. So our actions create reactions and impressions. These impressions are stored to be brought out in our previous lives. So these samskaras or impressions actually guide our current life's actions, attachments, lusts, etc. Our behavior is based on our previous life's experiences, and so Dronacharya teaches us good and bad. So sometimes we do right actions, which are good. Sometimes we do bad actions, which are wrong. Both these are taught or come out of Dronacharya, which is nothing but stored samskaras. Now, as you can imagine, we have thousands of lives. And because we have thousands and thousands of lives, our impressions are non-exhausting. They never completely abolish or die. So Dronacharya's son, who is Ashwatthama, is immortal. Now, do you get what I'm saying? Drona Charya represents our previous life's impressions or samskaras, and those will never completely die. So their son, Ashwatthama, is immortal. So the two characters that I've explained in this particular video are Drona Charya and Ashwatthama. In our next videos, we will try to talk about Shantanu and Ganga and Bhishma and other characters in the Mahabharata. I hope you like it and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.